Weekly trades with precision, gold, silver, and commodity setups broken down with full transparency, wins and losses included. This is the Golden Nugget with Verified Investing.
Welcome to the Golden Nugget. Every single Wednesday at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. We had an absolutely phenomenal week, another massive trade that we took on silver last week, and then we flipped along on both gold and silver. You heard it here first. This is the make or break point. You read it in the title. It's on the thumbnail. That is no joke. We're going to talk about why that is happening inside of this video. So if this is the first time that you've been here for the Golden Nugget, we appreciate you. We would not have a platform without you. And to all of the loyal people that show up every single week, let me know in the comments section if you're taking trades. Hopefully everybody's making money. We have like a 92% win rate on this year. Absolutely insane trades we've been giving out every single week. I think almost every single week we've had at least one, if not more trades. Some couple of weeks we had like 5 or 6 trades hit all at the same time. Absolutely insane gains, and we absolutely took our first gain inside of the smart money commodities, the futures trader that I was telling you all about last week. So if you want to join in there and not just have to see me once a week like you do on the Golden Nugget, because I am Drew Wolfert, Verified Pro Trader, your golden guide to everything that's happening inside of the metals and the broader financial markets, go ahead and get inside of smart money commodities. Now, let's get into what the Golden Nugget is just really quick. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to talk about what is going on inside of all of the markets, right? That is going to be called the commodity compass. Then we're going to get into my favorite segment, which is called the Golden Nugget. And that's where I give you a golden nugget from the golden opportunity, which is the training that I brought out in conjunction with Verified Investing. So if you want to understand exactly how I have this 89, 92% win rate and all that stuff, right? And you want to be able to do it for yourself, not just rely on people to give you signals or tell you what they're doing inside of the markets. Get into the golden opportunity. Then we are going to do a special segment that I'm not going to tell you what it is. And then we will obviously do the thing that everybody came here for, because they come for the braids, they stay for the trades, and hopefully they're on the gains train with us. But we're going to do the silver snapshot first, which is where we talk about our silver trades. And then we are going to gauge gold, where we tell you all of the technical analysis on gold, the trades that we're looking at and the trades that went well. Then we'll do the economic calendar. And the last thing we will do is we will answer a couple of questions from people that dropped them in the comments section. So if you want your question answered next week, drop it in the comments section right now. Let's do it. Let's just get straight into it. No time to waste. So what is driving gold right now? Let's talk about the commodity compass. So gold actually climbed as our markets kind of turned to risk off amid equity weakness. And obviously a firm dollar. The dollar has been going up, okay? So even though expectations for a Fed rate cut have kind of dwindled, gold is staying pretty strong. It's found its floor here at about 4K. It's pretty awesome, right? Now, the Fed is also giving mixed signals about the rate cut, but ultimately, we are going to be closely awaiting the release of that Federal Reserve meeting minutes that just happened, and that is going to happen today at 2 p.m. Eastern time, so in about an hour and a half if you're watching this live, right? So this will give us a pretty good gauge of what the Fed is thinking moving forward. Then we've got the delayed U.S. jobs reports for like September, both of which, this and the Fed meeting minutes, could tip the scale one way or another for gold. So just pay attention. This is kind of the make or break point, I promise you. And we're at like the make or break level. So it's going one way or another, okay? So let's get into segment number 2, and this is going to be the Golden Nugget. And for that, we're going to have to get into our charts, because I'm going to show you the importance of the fib retracement levels, okay? So let's get to the gold chart. I want to show you, do you understand why we topped out here? There's a couple of reasons, but I want to show you one main reason, and it is this fib right here, okay? We retraced up to the golden pocket, got in between the 786 and the 618 into the golden pocket, okay? The second reason that we also rejected here, naked VWAP, baby. Naked VWAP. And if you go to the 4-hour chart, it's even more clear, okay? It is even more clear on the 4-hour chart. If we just scroll right over here, you can see we wicked right up to that naked VWAP. We barely gained it, and then we just lost it immediately, right? Now, what's even further is if you measure this all the way up, and then you come all the way back down here, right? And let's get this other trend fib off of here. Look at that. Retraced right back down from the bottom to the top of this range right here, retraced right back down to the 0.618 fib perfectly. And guess what there was right over here? There was a naked VWAP that was right here, and there was a naked point of control right here. You came within 50 bucks of that. These 0.618s and that kind of like in between 0.618 to 0.786, that is going to be something that you absolutely have to pay attention to inside of these markets, because if you're not, you are leaving money on the table, I promise you. So let's get into our next segment, all right? And that segment is going to be our special segment, and it is going to be called the market movers, okay? So let's talk about what is moving the market right now and what you can expect. So we have delayed US jobs data, and Fed minutes are probably going to be the things that drive the next leg in gold, whether it's up or down. And the rest of broader metals market and the broader markets are also awaiting this, okay? We saw the S&P just get demolished, right? Just this past week, okay? So whenever you see that happening, you have to take notice of it, okay? So the delayed September non-farm payrolls, and let's be real, there's a lot of delayed economic data, and these are the key triggers that can absolutely get you where you're going. You might have a technical setup, but it might just need an economic catalyst to drive it, right? So these could be the economic catalyst to drive it, and this is something I teach inside of the Golden Opportunity, literally to dozens and dozens of people. So if you want to know all about this type of stuff, get into the Golden Opportunity. Now, the minutes from the Fed's October meeting are being released today at 2 p.m. We talked about that earlier, and these are going to shed light on the internal Fed thinking around potential rate cuts coming in December and even further than that, and the economic risks that we are seeing inside of the markets right now. So if the jobs data surprises, weak, okay? Weaker jobs data than what they think it's going to be, and the meeting minutes lean a little bit more dovish, right? Because the reason why we had a nice little pullback in gold was obviously we had the 618 retrace, the naked VWAP up there that we just smashed into and then rejected from, but then we had hawkish Fed commentary on that same exact day, and that was the catalyst for the technical setup, okay? Now, if the jobs data does surprise weak and the minutes lean dovish a little bit more, gold could get a nice little tailwind where it starts to go up. And on the flip side, stronger economic data, the jobs data, and hawkish Fed commentary could put pressure on gold to start going down, okay? Now, we also have dollar dynamics, okay? What is their influence on gold at present, okay? So a stronger US dollar, it's actually acting as a headwind for gold, okay? Now, a lot of people wonder why this happens, because whenever you have the dollar being strengthened or going up, it is actually putting pressure on gold because it raises the local currencies of foreign nations and their cost for non-USD buyers, right? So whenever they're buying gold, if they're buying it in a currency that's depreciating against the US dollar at the time and gold is being settled in US dollars, then they're actually losing money by having to do that a lot of time, right? So with rate cut expectations, fading, the dollar may retain upward pressure. Okay, that's just, we have to be prepared for that, which could keep gold from breaking out aggressively. However, that counterforce is safe haven demand and central banks continuing to buy at like alarming rates, okay? So now let's get into what everybody came here for, and that is going to be the silver snapshot, all right? Let's go ahead and get onto the silver chart, and we'll show you what happened last week, man. We absolutely killed it. Look at this trade. Oh my gosh. And this was actually a trade that we gave out long in advance, and you knew last week that we were actually in this trade. And look at that, 7.6%. And then inside of the smart money commodities, we actually took this exact same trade for 6% in literally less than 48 hours, right? So it didn't matter where you got in on this trade. If you got the perfect top, great. If you got the 2.236, great. You still made money either way. Absolutely insane gains. And then guess what we did? We just flipped long, baby. We flipped long at the 2.0 to the retrace of the $50 level. Okay, now we went a little bit below it to about $49.40. Okay, but didn't even come and hit our stop loss. Everything's good. We are long on this, and we are already halfway into the money on this, right? So we have a bullish market structure to the upside right now. And that is evidenced by the uptrend, the uptrend, the uptrend, the uptrend, the uptrend, the uptrend on the monthly, weekly, daily, 12, 4-hour, and 1-hour charts. So let's talk. This is our target right here is about $53.90 right now. Okay. Now, obviously, we're going to protect this trade. I am not willing to lose on this trade. So stop loss is going to be somewhere up here, and just don't lose on this trade. There's no point. So let's talk about what we can do now. Well, first and foremost, we can short if we get an SFP and a bear div at these all-time highs, right? Then secondarily, we can short this $49 range right here, okay? We can short this $49 or $50 range if we get under it and then reject, okay? Now, the key is that we really need to reject and we need to get under some serious lows. So we need to get under these lows right here and then reject, right? And if you look, the last time we came down here, guess what we did? We just bumped into a naked VWAP, boom, blasted up. So you got to be cognizant of these things whenever you're getting down there, right? Secondarily, we've got the 1.786 fib loss. If you lose that, you are shorting, especially if you lose these levels right here, okay? Secondarily, we have the 1.618 all the way down here, and then we have the 1.5. There's the obvious short up here at the 2.236 as well, which is just this same exact short right here. Just double it, right? And send it over. So then we have the 1.5 fib, and this is actually the point of control on the range. If you lose this, you are shorting. Secondarily, if you get above here, you crack this all-time high, you bullishly back test this 2.236, you are longing, baby. We are long at that point. Secondarily, we just take this trade all over again. This trade that we're already in right here. If we come back down here and we bullishly bounce, boom, we're going to come right back up here and we're going to try to bring it back up to the 2.236. So from about 50 bucks all the way up to about 54 bucks, something like that. Secondarily, if we bounce from this this 1.618 right here, and if we SFP these lows, I would like to see an SFP and a bullish divergence at those lows. That is where we are longing. Obviously, we've got the 1.618 right here, and sorry, I said that was the 1.618. The $46.59 range is the 1.786, and then we have the obvious, if you bounce from here, at the 1.5, right? Now, let's get into gauging gold, and let's show you the trade that we have open right now, because we gave this trade out last week, and it absolutely hit. We have 5 positions open right now inside of Smart Money Commodities. So if you want all the trades, not just gold and silver, and you want all the commodity trades, get in there because I'm giving them out every single week, baby, and we are going to kill it in there. Now, it doesn't matter where you got in, right? If you got in here, great. We gave this trade out. We said, hey, if you come down to the 2.618, which we did, perfect back test. We reclaimed the parallel. We came back down. We tested the 2.618, and we bounced, right? So if you got that one, great. Secondarily, we gave out this one from the naked VWAP right here, and here we go. Boom. We got our nice little push up after we got our second entry, right? So if you did a half position here and a half position here, great. If you did a full position here, still no big deal. And if you did a full position here, still no big deal. Did not hit your stop loss because we didn't come and confirm under this 2.618. So what can we be doing now, right? Because we know what our target is. Our target's somewhere up here in the $4,250 range to $4,400 range. Are we going to take it to all-time highs? I mean, I'd sure like to. So let's see if we get a rejection here. And if we get a rejection here, we can take that same exact trade all over again. And remember, there's a naked VWAP right here. So watch this $4,045 level down to about $4,010, right? Secondarily, you can long all the way down here at the 2.236, especially if it's intersecting the bottom end of this parallel. I mean, that is a likelihood. I'm not saying it's super likely that we get down there, but I mean, it's a possibility at the very least. You got to keep it on your radar, okay? That's why we give you these trades. USFP these all-time highs, you get a bearish divergence up there, you are shorting all the way down, baby. And we've got a short right here at these local highs. If you get an SFP and a bearish divergence up there, short it down, baby. Secondarily, if we reject from this parallel and from the value area high on our local range that ranges all the way from down here to up here, right? If you get that rejection, you are shorting down, down, down to the 2.618 at the very least, right? So we would like to see if we get a rejection here. We will see, you know, especially if we get a bearish divergence from these highs right here. But you do have a nice V-shaped recovery, so it's looking up-ish, more or less for gold right now. Secondarily, if you lose this 2.618, you're shorting. And that is exactly what we are looking at inside of the gold and silver market. So let's talk about the economic calendar and what is going to be going on until you see me faithfully next week at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time for the Golden Nugget. All right, so today, we've already said this like 3 times, but I'll say it again. Release of the Federal Reserve October meeting minutes at 2 p.m. Now, tomorrow, we're going to have delayed U.S. September non-farm payrolls at 8:30 and the Philadelphia Fed manufacturing. Okay, now the New York or the Empire State came out earlier this week, and that was another reason why gold went down because it actually beat. They did well. Secondarily, we are going to see on Thursday, likely, this is not guaranteed, other U.S. labor indicators like unemployment numbers working through the backlog, right? Unemployment rates, initial jobless claims, wages, stuff like that, because we know the government shutdown that was like the longest in ever history. It stopped us from seeing a lot of data, okay? Then Friday, we have S&P Flash Services PMI and final consumer sentiment numbers. Then on Tuesday of next week, this is game time. Core PPI, Consumer Confidence Index, and then next Wednesday we have the PCE Index, the Import-Export, and GDP's first revision for Q3. So when I say this is make or break, we got a lot of catalysts coming up, so just pay attention, be nimble, and let's talk about some of the questions that were asked in the previous video. So if you want your question answered, drop it in the comments section. We'll see if we get to it next week. Somebody asked, VWAP. Please explain that. Okay, so what VWAP is, it is volume weighted average price. This is an institutional indicator that shows you where big money is buying because it is weighting the line, and I can show you what that line looks like if you just give me 1 second. This white line, this is VWAP right here. What it is doing is weighting the actual volume that is coming in for the price that it's coming in at. Whereas moving averages just take into account the close of whatever that candle is or the open, however you have it set up. This actually weights it by the volume at the price point that you are seeing it at. So I, encourage you to get into the golden opportunity where I really give you a really good tutorial on exactly how to use VWAP, and it's very well respected. The second question, I thought this one was kind of funny. Will Gareth stop being bearish on the metals now? So I know Gareth personally. I do videos with Gareth every week now as well inside of Smart Money Commodities. He's not bearish on metals. Spoiler alert to everybody. He's short-term bearish on metals, yes, but that's because he's a trader, right? So, I guess you could have said last week I was bearish on silver because we took a short, right? But long-term, I've got gold right here. I've got silver right here. It doesn't go far. He has a big bag of gold and silver as well. He's not bearish on metals. He's just bearish short term because he thinks that there might need to be a pullback. But that's something that he can answer himself. I don't want to speak for him, right? But that's my interpretation from the conversations I've had with him. Then we had one other person say, I still think the market has some more steam. I think it will retest the all-time high, maybe even get there in the next day or so, which that was last week, and then retrace back down to 3.5K before moving back up in 2026 when the recession really hits. I tend to agree with this. I don't think we're going to see gold go much under about $3,650. So, I think gold has more steam. I think it does have headwinds with the US dollar, but I do think that gold has, a pretty easy path up to about $4,500. And my short-term target would be about $4,500. And I could see a floor for now, 3650, something like that. That's actually a really key Fibonacci level that we've been talking about. If you go back to the analysis, just rewind the track, you'll see what I'm talking about. So anybody that wants their question answered, drop it in the comment section below. Thank you so much for showing up. We appreciate you so much. Seriously, we have been taking awesome trades. If you are taking the trades, if you are making money, if you're enjoying this content, give me a like on the video. Drop it in the comments section, whatever you think. And anybody that's watching on the Drew Wolfer YouTube channel, we appreciate you too. I know a lot of people are watching on the Verified Investing YouTube channel, the Verified Investing Twitter, the Drew Wolfer Twitter, wherever it is that you are watching from. We appreciate you, and we will see you all soon. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Imagine waking up every day with freedom. No boss, no clock, just you, your charts, and profit stacking. That is the life of a verified pro trader, and it's exactly how I built mine, by learning to trade gold the right way. I've helped countless members start winning, and now it's your turn. This is your golden opportunity to trade like a pro, live like a boss, and take advantage of the gold super cycle that is transferring wealth like we've never witnessed before. So make this your golden opportunity.